Okay, I'm just gonna make this quick. This video, will be bare bones, and I'm just shooting from the hip. WrestleMania 41 was pretty much a so-so WrestleMania. Is it one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time? Hell no. Is it one of the worst? No. You can call it mid-mania if you really want to be honest. There was some good stuff on it, but nothing that would make it even barely a good WrestleMania, let alone a great one. And let me just start with some of the other stuff first. Jey Uso beating Gunther. It wasn't that he won the title referring to Jey Uso. It was not even the way he did it. With the sleeper hold, I just felt they made Gunther tap out way too quick to that. But in the defense of that ending, everybody that's beaten Gunther for a title has had to do something outside of their wheelhouse to win. Ilya Dragunov did that for the NXT UK title. So did Sami Zayn. He had to bust out a move he hadn't done in years, and that's the brain buster on the top turnbuckle. Jey Uso has never used a submission hold to win any match in his career until that match. So as far as the ending goes, I have nothing against that, but they made Gunther tap out way too quick. I would have preferred a pass out ending. And let me just go on ahead and say, night one overall, except for the main event, was meh. Except for the main event, which I'll get to that one in a second. Now, this match right here between Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky. And I know I said a lot about Io being involved, how I wanted Rhea Ripley and Bianca, and I'll stick to that. That said, this match, in my opinion, if not for the triple threat match the night before between Seth, Roman, and Punk, this would have been match of WrestleMania. Without question. In fact, in some people's eyes, this is match of WrestleMania, and they're entitled to that opinion. I think it takes second over the Punk, Seth, and Roman match, especially with the ending, but that's only my opinion. But this match was incredible, and what a way for Bianca Belair's streak to be broken, man. I mean, I wanted Bianca Belair to win. I'm not going to lie. I was cheering for her, but hey, Io Sky busted her behind for that win, and I can't take nothing away from her. Great effort out of Rhea Ripley as well. So, now this match was definitely the match of WrestleMania, in my opinion. The match that stole the show at WrestleMania 41 between these three, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. Not only was the quality of the actual match good, in my opinion, the story they told was better than anything on the two-night WrestleMania card. No one was expecting... Let me take that back. Everyone was expecting Paul Heyman to possibly turn on CM Punk, and he did. But I don't think very few people was calling for him to turn on Roman Reigns. Very few people was calling on that. Only a handful of people predicted that Paul Heyman would go in favor of Seth Rollins. But quite honestly, Seth Rollins came out of this match a bigger star. And certainly the talk coming out of WrestleMania, even more so than the match I'm going to talk about next. CM Punk's image was not really damaged, neither was Roman. That'd be great match, great storytelling. And by the way, as a connoisseur of good job, Heyman, but work on not making it so obvious, man. You made it so obvious. It's so obvious. A blind man could have felt the low blow, especially on Roman, man. You telegraphed that. I mean, the execution was flawless, but dude, work on your technique, man. Next time, don't make it so obvious. Anyway, on to the main event. And now we get to this match. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Let me say right now, do I think the match in itself was bad? Not really. But the execution of everything, especially Travis Scott, who no one wanted there. Nobody wanted that. We want The Rock. We didn't want Travis Scott. If there was going to be interference on the behalf of John Cena, we want The Rock. We didn't want John Cena. I mean, not John Cena. We didn't want Travis Scott. The only time we cheered anything concerning him was when Cody Rhodes sort of got his receipt by putting him in the crossroads, but even that felt tame. The only thing they got right, in my opinion, was Cena winning his 17th world title. That was the right call. That the right man went over, but the execution of it, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The execution of it was straight up ass. It was not very good at all. And the fact that The Rock was not there at all, even though he did announce they wasn't going to be there, everybody figured it would be a swerve, but the fact that he genuinely is not there made it all the worse, since he was the catalyst for the heel turn of John Cena to begin with, and him not being there at all. And then the reason he gave, he pretty much buried WWE and Triple H particularly. In my opinion, he should have never, if he wasn't going to commit fully, he should have never even been involved. And they should have stuck to their alleged original plan of having John Cena turn heel at WrestleMania, which I think, looking at it now, was probably would have been the better move. Because it definitely would have made this main event way more memorable if they would have held off on the heel turn of Cena here. It definitely would have made that main event way more memorable, because as it is, it's going to go down as one of the more forgettable main events. And especially, I'm not the biggest Cody Rhodes fan, but you had him go through all of that, going through Brock, going through Shinsuke, going through the Royal Rumble a second time. You had him go through all of that to win the damn championship, only to lose because he wouldn't hit John Cena with the belt. John Cena boots him in the nuts and then hits him with a belt shot, and he gets the 1, 2, 3. When we've seen Cody Rhodes go through way worse and not get pinned. So that really, like I said, John Cena going over is the only thing they got right. Everything else was, what is this? That's like expecting white gravy on your ribeye steak, but you get your ribeye steak well done, but they put a pile. Man. That's basically what that is. So what's my overall grade of WrestleMania, or thoughts on this particular WrestleMania? A 5 to a low 6 at best, if you combine the two nights. If you separate them, this was, except for the main event of night one was pretty much a 4. And then night 2, I would give it about a 7.5. You could maybe argue an 8. But everything was good up until the main event. So this was a real mixed bag WrestleMania. Matches like, for every Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Sin City street fight, which kicked all kinds of behind, you had your matches like AJ Styles and Logan Paul, which I expected to be a whole lot better than it was. It wasn't the worst match I've ever seen, but it wasn't as great as I thought it would be. Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton. While it wasn't Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 38, while it wasn't that bad, it wasn't that good either. We've seen both women have way better matches. The New Day versus War Machine. I'll be honest, I'm a fan of the New Day, but I didn't care. I didn't care about this match. Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch beating Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Didn't care about it either, but at least it was a moment for the pop for Becky Lynch, and at least that they kept it short. Honorable mention definitely has to go to the Intercontinental Fatal 4-Way match between Braun Breaker, Penta, Dominic Mysterio, and Finn Balor. In fact, I would say that one was probably the third best match on the entire 2-day WrestleMania. In fact, if I had to rank the best matches, Seth, Punk, and Roman from night 1, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky from night 2, the Fatal 4-Way from night 2, and Drew McIntyre against Damian Priest, I had to rank number 4. Definitely the 4th. If I had to put a 5th one, I had to think about that. Only because of the fun factor in it. Maybe Randy Orton versus Joe Hendry. Only because of the entertainment factor. It was a fun match. Yeah, some people called it a squash. It wasn't quite a squash. But you saw Joe Hendry only get in a few moves. Which at least they didn't totally humiliate the TNA champion. Which I'm not the biggest TNA fan, though I respect its legacy in wrestling. I would have had a big problem had they done that. But thankfully they didn't. But it ended up like we thought, Randy Orton going over. I personally would have voted for Nick Aldis to be the opponent for Randy Orton. Or an NXT guy. Maybe have Trick Williams come out. Imagine the pop. As big as the pop that Joe Hendry's music and entrance got, imagine the pop for Trick Williams with "Whoop That Trick." That music. One of the few bangers that Def Rebel has come up with. But anyway, that's my quick thoughts on WrestleMania this past weekend. I know I'm a few days late on it. But anyway, I'm out.